So that's the second thing, the issue of the filter. The third thing I want to say is this. I've mentioned this week in Melbourne, we'll receive visitors for the 2010 World Federation Right to Die. It is worth our while pausing for a moment to realise how we can be so busy in our life that we don't pause to consider the inevitable business of our dying. We might put this matter aside and say, well, we all die, we all will die, so we'll deal with it when we come to it. But I find as I visit people at that time, they frequently wish they'd done something about the final things, the F word, the final things of, sometimes it's about ending a relationship, sometimes it's about leaving a job, sometimes it's entering a retirement, sometimes it's the final things of leaving life and the dying process. Of course, many die in their sleep. Many die as they read the newspaper. Many die without the slightest disturbance. But others know that their dying is dying in unrelieved pain. Dying with great indignity. Dying because they've lacked control of their body and their processes of choice. Dying for the lack of a good environment around them. And we might be one of those people. That's why the talk this afternoon, after church today, is so very important, I believe, for all of us. We might be one of those people. People in my job know very well that many people die a terrible death. The American surgeon Sherwin Nuland, in his book, How We Die, I've mentioned it to you before, he says, I have not often seen much dignity in the process by which we die. And surely he was in favour of bringing dignity into that dying process. Before we take sides with some churches or some politicians or some philosophers, good and bad, we need to stop, I think, and note what Dr. Nuland said in the first chapter of his book. He said this: every life is different from any that has gone before it, and so is every death. The uniqueness of all of us extends even to the way we die. So we can't just put a blanket over everybody or say you can't do that or you can do this. Every one of death's diverse appearances is as distinctive as that singular face we each show the world during the days of our life. Now, some people are ready to bear the suffering of dying, if suffering is the way for them, but other people know that ultimately there are good and humane ways to relieve that suffering and to die with dignity. There is that stark solitude that goes with dying. We see it in Tolstoy's story, The Death of Ivan Ilyich. His chief torment was the lie that was being told. Even at the end of his life, there was the lie somehow accepted by everyone, that he was only sick, that he needed to stay calm, that he needed to trust the doctors, and then somehow he would come out of it all right. But he knew that whatever was done, nothing would come of it except still more excruciating anguish and death. And so he said, they were playing this farce for my benefit. He was within a hair's breadth of shouting at them, would you stop the foolish lies? You know as well as I know that I'm dying. And so at least stop lying. But he never had the spirit to do this. You see, we can be in such evasion or denial of this most important part of our life that we will not focus upon it. I'm repeatedly confronted by the way this issue is often loaded with emotion, with ignorance, with prejudice. And that's not the only matter that gets loaded with it. So in this part of my address, I wanted to talk about this loading of emotions. Because you see, people, despite high education, high levels of involvement in the professions, in politics, in the churches, can become so swamped in their emotional loadings, in their irrational attitudes and behavior, in their prejudices, that a rational dialogue becomes almost impossible. So let us be enormously thankful to the lawyers of the courts as they attempt to bring the wisdom of Solomon to bear on so many of our problems. Let us be thankful for the scientists and the philosophers who lay before us the experimental details, the respectable evidence, so that we can make more informed decisions. Let us be thankful that we all have minds that can regain their focus on what is of ultimate importance, of what values might inform our best priorities, of what kind of human beings we most affirm, of what kind of society we would most like to have, how it might survive, how it might flourish, of what kind of focus we will bring to the best contentment and fulfillment to our lives.